Hello everyone, welcome back to the official YouTube channel of Lightway Research and Technology Center. In this video, we are diving into one of the most essential skills for working with data in SPSS, and that is data recoding and transformation. This is very, very important. Whether you are a student, researcher, or data analyst, this skill will help you in the process of cleaning your data and also preparing your data for accurate analysis. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is to launch your SPSS. After that, you load your data sets. I've already done that. This is the data sets I want to use for this particular training. But the first thing you need to understand is what a data coding is. Data coding simply means changing the values of a variable into a new format. For instance, you might want to turn a continuous variable such as productivity or employee year into a categorical data. Or you may want to reverse a score. For instance, here gender is coded May 01. You may want to reverse it to 12 or something like that. So that process is what is reversed to as data recoding. And data recoding can be divided into two aspects. The first one is recoding into same variable, and the second one is recoding into different variable. So I will walk you through how to recode into the same variable and how to recode into a different variable. For instance, here, if you go to variable view, you will see that we have variable view. Okay, gender. This is gender. Male is coded 1 and 0 for females. And we have already entered everything here. If you change the code here to maybe 1, 2, that doesn't mean that the data in the data view, that is the gender data, will change to 1, 2. No, it won't. It will still be 1, 0. So it is now left for you to dedicate time to changing to changing 0 to 2. So that will take a lot of time. So it is better to make use of the tools available in SPSS to simply recode your data. So to recode into the same variable, recoding into same variable such as gender, what you just need to do is to go to transform. Then from transform, you look for recode into same variable. We have recode into same variables and recode into different variables. So you select recode into same variable. So when you click on that, we have this. Then which variable do we want to recode? Gender. We want to recode gender. So you select gender and you move it to this box. Here, this is where you perform the magic. Yeah. So the next thing you do now is that you don't forget that this is a numeric variable. You can only do that for a numeric variable. You can't do it for string. You can only do it for numeric variables. All these variables are numeric. So you can recode 1, 2, 3. These are continuous variables. So you can also record these continuous variables into a different variables. But here, let's focus on gender. So this is gender. Previously, we have 1, 0, and 1 denotes male and 0 denotes females. So now we can recode this into a different. We can make use of different codes. So you click on old and new. So in this interface, we have old values here. We have new values here. So now what you need to do is to this old value now, 0, we want to change all 0 to 2. So old value, you type 0 here. Then in this new value, we now want to use 2 to denote females. So you type 2 here. Once you are done with this, you move to this place. The next thing, leave other settings. The next thing you need to do is to click OK. So once you click OK, you then click continue. Once you click continue, you then click OK. Now you will have a new code. You can see that all the 0 has been changed to 2. So now you can now go back to your variable field and change this to 2. So now you now know that okay, 2 stand for, you click on change. Let me do that again. Okay, so you click on, it was previously 0, you click on it, then here it was 0, you now select 2, then you click add. Okay, let me cancel and redo. So to change, to make the modification in your variable field, you just click on these 3 dots, then you click on this 0. So this 0 you don't remove, you just go to value, then you type 2. So instead of add, you click change. Once you click change, then you click OK. So everything now works perfectly. So you can do as you can do for other variables too. For instance, if you want to change religion to 1 2 instead of 1 0, you know, religion, Islam is coded 0, while Christian is coded 1. So now if you want to now change everything, you want to use 1 to it for Islam, 2 for 0, 2 for Christians, then you go to here, transform, recode into same variables. Once you click on that, you move this, you take this one out, then you highlight religion, you take it in. Next, you click on old and new values. Here, initially, okay, don't forget that you have to do away with this, you remove it. Old variable is what? 0 for Islam. Now you want to use 1, so you add. For Christian, it was initially 1, now you want to use 2, you add new 2, then you add. The next thing is you click on continue, next you click OK. So now if you check, you will see that you now have 1 to 1 to instead of 1 0. So that is how to recode into the same variable. Please take note that this particular method will overwrite the original variable. So you need to be very careful when you want to make any adjustments. In fact, it is better you have a different work file when you want to do those adjustments, in case you may need to revert back. Maybe your supervisor or a reviewer asks you to change 0 to 1. At the end of the day, your paper may not be accepted. And when you submit to a new journal, they may want you to use 01, which was your previous coding approach. So it is better you first save the work file, then you use a new work file for the adjustment. So at the end of the day, you have 2 work files. Then the one for 1 2 you have it, the one for 01 you have it. So if you want to make any adjustments or you want to revert back to your previous coding, you can just take that work file and move on instead of performing the operation again. So now let us move to the second part, which is recoding into different variables. The method, the approach or the steps are the same. You go to transform, then instead of recode into same variable, you select recode into different variables. You recode into different variables. Now let us recode productivity. The highest for productivity, I think, is 9. Yes, the highest is 9. So you move productivity from here to here. You know, productivity is a continuous variable. Now we want to record it and make it a categorical variable. So the first thing you need to do is to move the variable to this box. So once you move the variable to this box, you now come here. You now say productivity group. You want to group it. So you can now say product underscore g group. So that means this is a categorical variable. So here, whatever name you want to give it, the label, you can now say productivity. Let me write productivity, TVT, categories. Is that clear? So this is the label. Now you have this here. So you can see the previous name is what? Prod. Then the new name is now productivity group. So you go to old and new values again to make the modification, to do the recoding. You click on this old. You can see that you now have the same. You have the same interface. So you come to range. Sorry, not values. Value is for category. You come to range. You now say 0. You know the highest is 9. So let's say we want to have 3 categories: 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9. We want to have 3 categories. That is low, medium, and high. So now the range is 0 to 3. 0 to 3. That one you attach one value to it. Let's say 1. That is low. So you add. Next is 3.1 through 4.0. There you say 2. That's medium. Sorry, to 6.0. I'm supposed to put 6 here. 6.0. Then you add. That is medium. The third is 6.1. 6.1 through 9.0. So that is at the highest. So you add. Now we have successfully converted the continuous variable to categorical variable with this grouping. And don't forget, you must document all this process because everything must reflect in your methodology. If you perform all this operation without saying anything about it in your methodology, your paper may be rejected. In fact, it may be just rejected. So you need to make sure you document all this process, and when you are writing your methodology, you provide a clear explanation of every operation so that you won't have issues with your you won't have issues with reviewer. So once you are through with this, then you click continue. Then the last stage is click OK. Now we have categorical variable for productivity. You can see this is productivity, categorical variable for productivity, and we have anything above 6.1 takes the values of 3. So now you cannot go back to variable view and do the definition there. You can see the values. Then you cannot come to variable view. You know it is still numeric. Sure. Of course, you can change the decimal. You can see it is 1.00 here. Of course, others are 1.1. No decimals for others. So you can just make the modification here. This, you change it to 0. 0. You are okay with that. You can see it is now non-decimal. Next thing is, okay, the label. We have done that. Then the values. This is very, very important because this is now a categorical variable. So you need to also, of course, you have done it there, but you need to do the same thing here. So here 1, you now say 0 to 3.0, 1, 2, 3.1 to 6.0. You do that. Then 3, which is high. You know, we have low, medium, high. 6.0, 6.1, sorry, to 9.0. So you have that as well. Then you click OK. So you are done with that. So once you perform that operation, you are through with recoding into different variable. We converted continuous variable to what? To a categorical variable. Of course, you may need to do this in your analysis. For instance, it is always good, if possible, to collect your data in a continuous form because you can easily convert that continuous data to a categorical variable. But when you collect your variable, your data in form of categories, it will you can't convert it to a continuous variable properly. Because if someone says, okay, my age is between 8 and 10, will you not say it is 9? Will you say 8 years 4 months? No. But if you put it, you make it open-ended question, your age, the person indicates it. Later, when you are doing your analysis, you can now convert the data to a categorical variable. So the next thing I want to take you through is how to compose variable. That is a variable transformation. You know, it is possible. In one of our previous videos, I made it clear that one of the ways to address outlier issues is to transform the data. You know, you can just check through our channels and look for a video on how to undo outliers. We identified case 4, case 10, case 21, and case 34 as outliers. Those are the 4 outliers. Now, to address that particular issue, you need to transform the variable. You can take the log of productivity. That's what I said in that video, that you should just take the log of the productivity instead of removing the cases. You just take the log. So now, here I will explain how to transform a variable. You can take the log, how to square a variable, how to interact a variable. To compute a new variable, that is variable transformation, you go to transform, then you select compute variable. From there, let me reset this. Now, which variable do you want to transform? Which variable and what method do you want to use? Okay, I want to use natural log. Then the variable is productivity, which has outlier issue. Before you select productivity, what method do you want to use? Log, and that log is arithmetic. So you select arithmetic here, and this is natural log, ln. You select ln, then you add. Then which variable do you want to transform? Productivity. So you now pick productivity and you move it in. So you can now see that we have ln of productivity. Now, what is the name you want to give your new variable? So let's say ln prod. This is the name of the new variable. Okay, now what types of variable normally is? It should be numeric, and the label should be what? Natural logarithm, natural log of productivity. That's the name of the new variable, the natural log of productivity. So you click continue. Is that clear? So once you click OK, now you will have a new variable which will be named ln prod. So now let's click OK and see that variable. You can now see that SPSS has generated a new variable named ln productivity. So this is the natural log of productivity, and you can see. So in this case, the issue of outliers will certainly be a bit minimal. It will be minimal. You can see here we had 7. It is now 1.95. So it is somehow minimal. So if you check again now, let's check again and see whether that has addressed the issue of outliers. Let's use bus plus, sorry. Okay. Then this natural log, move it here. Then let's take this one out. Then you click OK. Now you can see that this particular new variable, the natural log, there's nothing like outlier again. There's no observation that is outside the range. So that is one of the key ways to address outlier issue, and also way to address to transform a variable. Any transformation you want to do, this is where you come. You get it? This is where you come. If you want to do square now, what you just need to do, for instance, if I want to take the square of employee, so what I need to do is to first reset. I will reset everything here. What do I want to do? I want to take the square of employee. So now let me just say employee is EMP. So let me put SQ in front. Employee square. Then what operation do I want to perform? Arithmetic. Then I look for the square here. I pick this. You see, what variable do I want to? You can see that this has changed. What variable do I want to square? Employee. Then you move it in. So now employee square will now be equals to the square root of employee. Next, I click OK. A new data will also be generated named employee square. You can see. So that is how to transform a variable. Whatever operation you want to do, you just go to transform. There are several other ones that you can do. You can add, you can interact two variables. For instance, you can say tribe star employee. You understand? So here you put int, let's say int interaction. Is that clear? So in that case, you don't need to tamper with the function. You just click OK and you will get the variable. You can see this is the interaction of the two variables. So whatsoever operation you want to perform, transformation you want to perform, you just go to transform. You can also make use of mean, sum, and some other conditional logic, such as when you are using if and if operation. So please take note of this step. Before I conclude this video, there are some few quick tips I want you to take note. The first is that you should always recode into a new variable unless you are absolutely sure that you want to overwrite the existing one. Because when, for instance, now if I retain prod as the name of the new variable instead of prod crew, that means this variable will not be available again. It will certainly overwritten it, and I will not want that situation to occur. You understand? So make sure you give it a new name. Another thing is, if possible, use labels to describe your new variable, like this int now. You see, if I abandon this work file for like 3 months, I may not remember what this int stands for again. Why? Because I didn't label it. I labeled this one. It seems I labeled this. I labeled this. I labeled this. Okay, I didn't label this too. So these two now, of course, this one is easy to know, but this one int, I may not know that it's interaction of tribe and productivity or whatever variable, except I go back. So always use label to describe your new variable. Another thing is that you should always check for recording with frequencies or to ensure, or cross tab to ensure your this thing work perfectly, your new variables. Ensure you check for everything so that you will not have issues of error when you are doing your analysis. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to this particular channel. I believe you certainly enjoyed this tutorial. Also hit the bell icon for more SPSS tip and data analysis tutorial. In case you have any question, please don't forget to drop your question in the comment section. Thank you for watching this particular video. See you in the next video.